We've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be covering Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Ripple technical analysis. However, we're also going to go over BNB. I'm going to talk about why I'm holding the Binance coin right now. And then there's some awesome headlines to talk about. Fidelity institutional investments coming into this market. We're also going to be talking about Tether not being backed and what you guys need to do about that, alongside with Facebook building a new cryptocurrency. And I'm going to talk about why that's important. And we're also going to look at daily transactions per day and Bitcoin dominance, as we're seeing a lot of things cooking up. By the way, if you guys are not a part of our premium group, over the last 3 weeks, we've been posting a ton of BitMEX signals, and we have been on the dot with some of these BitMEX signals. You can see today we actually predicted this breakout of Bitcoin. We had this signal with an entry of 54.10, and I think we already hit that 5,500 target. We're looking to hit that second target. So if you guys are not a part of our premium group, the link is in the description below. Get a part of it. I'm telling you guys, there's so much opportunity in this market. We're going to start to see more and more altcoins pop. Now, I'm going to go right into this Bitcoin technical analysis. As you can see, we're starting to rise up towards this very strong resistance here at 6,000 US dollars. You can see it acted as previous support multiple times. And as we know, if you guys are traders, anything that was previous support that's broken down is now going to turn into the next resistance. And so looking at where there's potential opportunity in this market, I am assuming that we're most likely going to see a pullback at this 6,000 level. And if you guys watched my technical analysis from the last couple of weeks, we've been following the consolidation trend that I expected, and we're also testing these highs. But I believe we're going to see a pullback, maybe a healthy pullback, towards this support here right around that 49.50 level. So if you haven't gotten your positions in Bitcoin, as we know, we're starting to see a lot more bullish momentum in this market. We're going to talk about institutional investors coming in, but the point is, it is time to start dollar cost averaging, in my opinion, into Bitcoin, because we're starting to see this long-term downtrend starting to go ahead and curve up, and we're starting to see this correction come to an end and a new bull market starting to emerge. And so I wouldn't be surprised for us to see this pullback down towards these moving averages. You can see we've got this 50, the 100, and the 200-day moving average here as well. And so it would be a very healthy pullback for us to see Bitcoin drop down towards that $5,000 level. So don't be surprised if that starts to happen. Looking at the RSI, you can see we're heading towards these overbought levels, and we don't want to stay at these levels too long. And so looking at other opportunities in the market, we're going to look at Ethereum and Ripple's technical analysis, but I do want to mention a couple things here just so you guys know I'm still very bullish about Bitcoin in the long term. I'm going to show you guys this chart here. So here we've got the daily transactions per day. You can see here we're starting to maintain these 300,000 to 400,000 transactions per day levels, and these are the same highs that we saw in 2017 when Bitcoin was at 20,000 US dollars. Obviously, we're not at that right now, but as you can see, we are staying at these levels. And what I'm looking for is just to see how long we can stay at these higher levels. You know, I'm going to talk about some really cool things as well. I actually had a chance to sit down with Brock Pierce several weeks ago. That's why I've been out. So sorry, you guys, I haven't been making videos for 3 weeks, but I've been watching the markets. If you guys are part of our Discord premium group, you guys know I'm there every single day. We're posting daily trade signals for crypto, stocks, and Forex. If you guys are not a part of our premium group, the link is in the description. Once again, I highly recommend you guys get in there because I spend most of my time there helping our members and educating them to become profitable traders. But looking at this chart here, you can see in the fundamental sense, we're still very bullish about Bitcoin, and we're going to go into some news articles to prove that point. But what's also exciting is if we look at Bitcoin's market dominance, we're starting to head towards these higher levels at 55% right now, and that's actually one of the same highs that we saw recently, September 10th of 2018. We haven't been at these highs since then, and so that's a very positive thing. But please note that we know this is a resistance area for Bitcoin, and I just don't expect this to shoot up out of nowhere. There will most likely be a healthy pullback as we looked at the technical analysis for Bitcoin. And so I want to dive into some headlines right away because I do want to go over this XRP and Ethereum technical analysis. However, I've got some really cool headlines to show you guys here, and I think that's why I like making videos when it matters. You know, a lot of people, they make videos every single day, every single week, but for me, it's like I want to make videos when it matters because understand that you can be patient in this market and still make a lot of money. That's why we provide stocks and Forex signals as well as BitMEX signals, because obviously swing trading altcoins and swing trading Bitcoin and Ethereum is not always a good opportunity in the market as it was back in 2017 when we were in the bull market. And so there's so many other opportunities, but understanding the fundamentals is what's most important. You can see here it says institutional investment in cryptocurrency likely to grow. 22% of respondents have already purchased cryptocurrency if the survey accurately represents institutional interest. This is a remarkable increase from the near zero institutional investments in 2016. And so I want to talk a little bit about this. What's really cool is I had a chance to sit with Brock Pierce. If you guys know who Brock Pierce is, he is, he founded, he was part of the founding team of EOS. He was also a part of some of these major coins, working alongside Jed McCaleb, working alongside Dan Larimer, and even some other big hitters like Roger Ver as well. He's been in the sphere since World of Warcraft coins. And so if you guys don't know Brock Pierce, I highly recommend you guys search him up, but he's most prominent for the EOS, and he's also one of the founders of the largest fundraising funds in the cryptocurrency sphere. He's a billionaire in this market, and so a lot of people know him, and I had a chance to sit with him 2 weeks ago in a private event. And what's interesting is he mentioned Cambridge Analytics, which isn't Cambridge Analytica, which is part of that whole Facebook data drama. But this is a separate company that actually works with institutional funds, and they pretty much create benchmarks for these funds to invest in to have the safest investments. And for the first time ever, 2 months ago, Brock Pierce mentioned that they added blockchain and cryptocurrencies as 30 points of recommended investments in their funds. And so this report from Cambridge Analytics goes to over, to most of these institutions, and I think it represents over $300 billion, if I remember what Brock Pierce said. And what that means is, over the next few years, obviously you're not going to see these funds just start investing in crypto and Bitcoin because they have a lot of compliance paperwork they have to go through, and a lot of things they have to go through to start investing in new assets. But this article is proving Brock's point, because you can see here it says more promising is that 4 out of 10 respondents are open for future investments in cryptocurrency within the next 5 years. If opinion remains unchanged, this means that institutional investors could increase by up to 18% over the next 5 years. So if only 22% right now have already purchased cryptocurrency, and we see another 18% come, that's 40% more institutions investing in crypto, and I believe that's exactly what we're starting to see, and it's proven here with confirmed transactions per day, as well as Bitcoin's dominance and the technical analysis. So I'd love to hear you guys' opinion on that in the description below, and we're going to get into Tether as well as Facebook. But first, let's go over Ethereum's technical analysis. So looking at Ethereum, we are below this EMA. This is the exponential moving average. It's a momentum indicator. This is showing bearish momentum. We broke major support here right around that I believe that's 30 or 3 million Satoshi mark. And you can see we're starting to head towards that 26 level here. That's the first target that we have from previous support. And we're also looking at this RSI here with bearish RSI rejections constantly being rejected here below that 40, which is anything below 40 in RSI would be considered bearish. So not looking so good here for Ethereum. We don't want to look at the USD chart, because if the Bitcoin chart doesn't look good, then there's no point of looking at the USD chart. But looking at Ripple's technical analysis, very similar, below the EMA, below all these moving averages, broke major support, heading towards its next target here, right around that 4,000 Satoshi level. Looking at the RSI, very bearish, multiple rejections down here below 40, not looking so well. And then finally, where I've been hedging the majority of my crypto has been the Binance coin. As you guys know, I've been talking about this. I was the one that made the video in January of 2018 last year saying the most top performing best coin of the year is going to be the Binance coin. And guess what? It was the top performing coin in 2018. I've been in this market for over 9 years. I have a lot of experience, and I understand that use case is what creates intrinsic value. Therefore, that's what we're looking for when we're looking for these coins. And so I've got a list of about 50 altcoins that I look for swing trades, and that's where we post our crypto signals. However, when it comes to these major coins as long-term investments, we're looking at like the Binance coin, for example. The BitTorrent coin is a coin that I'm very optimistic about as well, but that's a very long-term trade. A lot of you guys got in around 17 or 18 Satoshis if you guys are part of our premium group, but I wanted to stress that this is a very long-term trade. So whether it's at 11 Satoshis, 12, 13, it doesn't matter. I'm looking at the BitTorrent token for the long term. And so the Binance coin, very interesting. We're seeing a bullish EMA. Currently, we're below because we're starting to see Bitcoin rise. But once again, Bitcoin is starting to head towards these resistance levels, and that's actually allowing the Binance coin to hit that 50-day moving average. So I can see this as a very strong entry right now, to be quite frank, because that 50 days is a support level, and it's a good Bitcoin hedge. What I also like about keeping my money in the Binance coin is we're seeing very strong volume on a consistent basis, and then on top of that, we're in a constant uptrend, and it's held very strong over the past few days. I can expect this next target to be right around that 50,000 Satoshi mark. And so that's what I'm excited about. If we look at, and sorry if I mess up Satoshis, I'm always looking at this right-hand side. I'm trying to count these Satoshis, but when you go through so many coins, it gets confusing. But you guys get the point. And so if you guys don't know what Satoshis are, every Bitcoin is broken into 100 million Satoshis. And so, or 10, man, I'm confusing myself. It's 1 a.m. Like this video if you guys appreciate me making a technical analysis and use video at 1 a.m. But anyways, appropriate RSI here. It has a very strong support. It's in the neutral zone. I'm really liking what I see here with the Binance coin. I would be hedging in Binance right now if I were you. And so very excited to see the Binance coin starting to trend up. Let's move on to some awesome news here. So this is another interesting article. I had a chance to sit with a buddy of mine who raised over $100 million for his ICO. I'm not going to specifically name him because they are going through some stuff with the SEC right now alongside a lot of ICOs. But he did mention to me 3 weeks ago at this private event, he was the one that actually hosted this event that Brock Pierce came to, that he is very worried about Tether. And now you're starting to see things come up with Tether. You can see here it says Tether confirms that 26% of its USDT supply is not backed by fiat. And they were being sued by the U.S. Attorney General's office, I believe, at this moment, due to the fact that they were hiding the fact that they lost money, and they just printed more Tether to cover it up, and that's a very big deal. So I would not be holding USDT. That's pretty much the main point here. I would be using USDC, TUSD, and there's a lot of other alternatives. And so looking at this next headline here, a lot of people are talking about it, Facebook building crypto-based payment system. I'm going to talk about why this is important. You can see here, Facebook is building a stablecoin backed by fiat, and that it was recruiting dozens of financial firms and online merchants to support the crypto ecosystem. Very good for positive growth and mass adoption, right? But what's most interesting is this part. It says Facebook was looking to raise $1 billion from investors, which the report confirms. The money will go towards backing its stablecoin. Well, guess what? If you see $1 billion enter a market that is currently at around $180 billion in total market cap, that's going to bring the market a lot higher. And so understand that when you're looking at market cap, it doesn't mean that there is $180 billion in this market. That's just the total valuation if you were to take every coin in this value right now and multiply. But obviously, we started to see a huge sell-off. The actual liquidity is a lot less than what's the total market cap. So $1 billion can make a very big impact. As a matter of fact, if we look at the last Bitcoin move here, this huge move here, this is a $100 million order that brought Bitcoin up about 23% in one day. And so imagine if that was $100 million that did 23%, then $1 billion that Facebook is already raising from investors going into a stablecoin that they plan to create, and they're already hiring developers for, $1 billion to $100 million, that would theoretically mean we'd see a 10x of this 23%. And so that's over 100%, over 200% gains just from Facebook putting $1 billion in this market. And that's why I'm going to end this video with the fact that I am extremely bullish. I hope you are too. Like this video if you haven't already. If you guys want to make some money, join our premium group. The link is in the description below. Our pre-sale is almost over. As we fill up more and more of our analysts, we're going to start posting crazy amounts of signals for every single category, crypto, stocks, and Forex, and that's when our pre-sale will be over. But right now, we're still building up analysts, so we only have daily signals right now, but I want to get to a point where we have not just daily signals, but 3 or 4 analysts on every single category posting signals, so that's when things are going to get exciting. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys soon as we start to see more market maturity and momentum. And with that being said, until the next one, thank you guys.